So I've written down several of the definitions that I find that a lot of people struggle with. And so just to give you some ideas of the potential this has and all the different definitions, like catch yourself. Anytime something happens that you don't like, there's a definition there. Anything. So the big things that I like to have people start with, myself. So you just put your name up top and do it on yourself. Any of your attributes, any of the things that have not served you over the years, you're going to define and go through that process. Your ideal version of you and go through that whole process. God. We spent 2 hours going over the definition of God, and it was amazing to see all the negative definitions that God had. It's like, no wonder people don't believe in him. Well, if my definition was like that, I wouldn't want to believe in him either. So it's really good to shift this. And redefining definitions, to me, is more than just a process of transformation. It's a process and a way to connect. If someone is saying, oh, I don't believe in God, I always want to know, what's their definition? If their definition of is, oh, he's a jerk, he allows things to always happen to all the good people, he never isn't fair, he's never there, he doesn't listen, he doesn't care, he's always forcing things on me, he slaves me. If that's their definition, I was like, I don't believe in God either. No wonder, like I'm an atheist too if that's my definition of God. So the definition, it helps you connect with people who might have different beliefs as you too. So I am able to teach people from all sorts of backgrounds and beliefs, because if something triggers somebody, it's because of a definition. That's it. If somebody gets offended, it's because of a definition. That's all. So if you can understand people's definitions, you can completely shift how you communicate, how you relate to people, how you serve them, and help people make a difference on the planet. So other ones, huge ones. If you've ever been through any divorces or struggled in love, you'll want to redefine love. If you felt like intimacy or sex, if these are key ones to redefine too. If you've had negative experiences with them and you don't enjoy them, it's because of your definition. And you'll need to go through the process to redefine that. Because if your partner's like, hey, I love you, but your definition is, I get beat up, I get used, I'm abused, I'm not good enough, it's always about the other person, then when someone says, I love you, it's going to feel really foreign. Like for me, love meant growing up, because my parents never told me anything to protect me. When they said, hey, Tyler, I love you, what I felt them say is, we don't trust you enough to tell you the truth, so we hide all the truth because you're not good enough and don't deserve to know. So every time they said, I love you, the emotional response would happen would be that definition of love. And no wonder it was difficult for me to work and on my relationship with my spouse. I had to redefine my definition of love. Husband, wife, son, daughter, brother, sister, dad, and mom. Those are really important. Anything that has a label to it, you want to redefine, because the label is only what you know. That's it. That's your definition. Everything that you've experienced in life or what you've seen, that is your definition. So if it's not serving you, change it. Food. People who are always allergic to food and not getting food inside them, it's because they have a lot of warped definitions. And yes, Tyler, there are chemical things that happen, but all chemical things are based on an energetic thing that precedes it. So if you change the energetics to it, the symptom can vanish and disappear. So people who get into all the science and it's like, oh, but it's like predispositioned. Well, redefine your predisposition, redefine DNA, redefine genetics. Because most people, oh, it's in my genetics means unchangeable. I'm a slave to it. I can't change it. I'm this way forever. Well, if that's true, then yes, you are always going to have that genetic problem. For me, my definition of genetics is changeable, easy to shift, transformational, serving, loving, connected. And knowing that, it's very easy to shift symptoms that were generational. Debt, money, we talked a little bit about those. Time. Goals is a big one. If you've ever had a goal and you've not achieved it, you've probably got some negative definitions towards goals. People who don't set goals, it's because their definition to goals is really warped. So like for me, goals, I did this in one of my mastermind groups. We spent over an hour and a half redefining goals because I was teaching them and I was like, okay, it's time to set some goals. And as soon as I said that, everybody's just like, whoa, what did I just say? So I knew they had a warped definition of goals. So we went through and redefined definition of goal, and then they loved goal setting and they set goals and they were able to achieve goals because we redefined what goals was. Gratitude, happiness, depression. These are interesting. Gratitude's an interesting one because a lot of people say, hey, you just gotta be grateful, have gratitude. But if your definition of gratitude is fake, it's not real, it's you do it because you're supposed to, you do it because it's a tool or a technique, it's something that you pretend to have but it doesn't actually give you a real sensation, then when you try to have gratitude, you're not going to hit the actual full level of gratitude. And you're not going to be on the frequency of gratitude, which is one of the highest frequencies on the planet. So if you tap into the true frequency of gratitude through its true definition, it can skyrocket your results. Happiness, depression, any form of disease with a label you'll want to redefine. If you feel like it's got and you can redefine negative things to mean something that is negative, but still not so negative that it kills you. Like, for example, let's say cancer. Okay, use cancer. Let's say it's a disease and it's like, oh, what's cancer? If their definition is it's uncurable, it's the thing that costs the most money to try to cure, it's never curable, it's whatever the definition is, then how could you create a positive definition to that? Well, you could say cancer is a cell in atrophy. Cancer is curable. Cancer is easy to change. Cancer is simply a cell in a state that is being consumed by something else. You can change the definition, which will change your approach, which will change of trying to solve it, which will change your result completely. Sales. Man, we spent like an hour and a half redefining sales. Very powerful. It was actually kind of similar to God. We did these at the same time. And sales was like sleazy, manipulative, no good, all these negative things. And so no wonder people didn't like to sell. It's like, no, what if sales meant service? What if sales meant to empower somebody to do what they already want to do? What if sales meant the highest form of love? What if sales was something like that? Then you would love selling and you could go sell and you could go make a difference and you could go make an income teaching people and helping them through the power of sales. Church, life, your business, whatever business you have, if you have things that aren't happening in your business, you'll want to redefine your business. Prayer, and the list could go on and on and on. So hopefully this helps give you guys some ideas of the power and potential of redefining definitions. I encourage you to start redefining daily or every other day or at least weekly. Anytime you find yourself in a situation that you don't enjoy, that is not ideal, ask yourself, what definition do I need to change? What definition do I need to change? Take ownership for that, see the things that you need to change, and find the definitions, map out the part that's not serving you, map out the part that's serving you, let go of the old one, embrace the new one, and you will see that through redefining your definitions, you will redefine your life. So I wanted to thank you for going through this. Hopefully this has been really useful. Again, this is a process that you have to master. It takes practice. I'm still finding things that I thought I redefined, but I missed definitions. I missed old things. I'm like, oh man, that's totally a definition that I had. So this is huge. If you take this to an extreme, you can change your life with it. I'm going to encourage you to write down and pick several one of these that affect you and go redefine it. Go start to do it. If after you do it with like 20 definitions, you'll start to get the hang of it and you'll be like, oh my goodness, this is so powerful. And when people say something as a coach, I listen for the definition they say. I don't just listen for the word, I listen for what they're meaning behind the word. And if you can do that, you're going to be a phenomenal listener. You're going to be a phenomenal husband, wife, a spouse, a daughter, or whatever, a brother, sister. you're going to become a better version of you by changing your definitions. So go out, change your definitions. If you'd like to learn how to take what to do after you redefine the definition to align your whole self with those definitions, then that you will learn in the complete alignment technique. I use both together. So in the complete alignment technique, I first have them redefine, then I have them align, and then design what they create. The main problem people face is that they design what they want. They set the goal, and then they just go for it without changing definitions or aligning. So they're shooting it all over the place. They're wasting so much time and energy and resources when if they just focused and said, okay, what do I want? I want this thing. So what's my definitions around it? Great. Redefine. Now I align all of me with that positive form of definition, that whole phrase. Now I'm on track, I'm aligned, and I can be precise. And that's how we've seen people go from a place of making no money to making multiple six figures, to making multiple five figures, to making even just several four-figure numbers, from thousands to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars, and some even millions of dollars through redefining the definitions, aligning, and then designing. So take your time to do this. If you feel like you get stuck, if you feel like you need extra help, reach out to our community. I'm on my Facebook group, and be sure and get your questions answered. Hopefully I've showed you enough that you can go out and start to redefine. Next step would be to learn how to align. And as you align, then you get into the designing, which is the skill set of how to create what you want. First, redefine. Second, align. Third, redesign. Okay? So the skills come after the framework, which is the mindset, the heart set, getting yourself into a state where when you start to implement what you want to do, you're going to nail it right out of the gate. Okay? Otherwise, you could eventually nail it, going through a lot of passion, a lot of repetition, a lot of failure, or redefine, align, then go nail your goal. Got it? Cool. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. Tyler Watson here. I look forward to having you in any of the other trainings that you go through, and I'll see you guys at another time.